Non, tu m'auras pas. Tu m'auras pas.
If you're here on matters of signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Our department needs to straighten out some business.
Pilosité faciale n'a pas le temps de se raser. N'a pas dormi de la veille. Il en est fier donc. Bien usé, jamais enlevé, il en est fier. L'envoyé aime faire la fête, l'envoyé éprouve des remords. La tache de vin rouge qu'on observe sur son poignet et son visage hirsute indique la paresse dont cet homme fait preuve dans son devoir. J'aurais pas dit ça. La médaille de l'ordre du bain semble très usée, il en est manifestement fier et ne la retire jamais. Ses habits plissés et ses yeux injectés de sang pourraient signifier qu'il n'est pas rentré chez lui la nuit dernière. Au lieu de se consacrer à son travail, c'est préfère se noyer dans un alcen de dépravation. Il semble très usé, l'homme en est masté, il ne la retire jamais.
Why are you staring at me like I'm a Madame Tussauds figure? Didn't you hear what I just said?
You blame yourself for what you did. Won't be any good unless you confess to me, so I'll try to be polite.
What sort of did are we talking about? Are you from the press?
I'm here because of Naylor.
Who?
You don't remember her name.
Lad, if you won't tell me where you came, I'll call for someone here to sort you out, if you get my meaning.
I came to talk. I have a solid piece of evidence that proves you guilty of the violation of a young girl.
What kind of evidence? The silly painting? That's ridiculous. Rumors. Don't listen to a word of it.
I wouldn't call it solid if it were just a painting. I have a photograph that would be enough to cause a scandal at the very least, not to mention criminal consequences.
A photograph? Oh, so you've plucked up courage to finally come here. I won't pay you a single coin until I see the photograph for myself.
I'm not interested in money. I came here to hear your version of what took place. I'm not in the habit of making rash decisions.
Not in the habit? Well, it didn't seem like that from the letter you wrote.
I've never written a single word to you. That's not my style. I'm more direct. But in exchange for my patience, I demand your full cooperation. I need you to tell me everything.
Fine. I suppose now we have a nice long talk. Do you drink, Mr.
Sherlock Holmes. And I do not.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey. But
No,
out of respect for
I
you,
only smoke
I won't drink
and do
either.
crack in cocaine.
That's an unusual word in your mouth, Mr.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton, a British envoy in Cordona on a military mission. So, where do we start?
Boniface Mercurio. Does the name mean anything to you?
He's an artist, right?
The one responsible for the painting that compromises you. I found him dead in his room.
Oh, that is bad. Wait, you don't think that I have anything to do with this?
You had motive to kill him.
Maybe I did, but listen. I know how this looks, but murder? That's on another level. I had thoughts that this Mercutio...
Mercurio.
Well, him, yes, I thought he could have been the blackmailer. But I was too afraid to make any hasty decisions. There were plenty of ways to fail by making a move, so I chose to wait. To see what he would do next. You have to believe me.
I don't believe people, I believe evidence.
Then look at the evidence.
So, let's return to the beginning. What happened at the party?
I vaguely remember that night. As usual at such parties, you meet people, you talk with them, they invite you to spend some time alone with them. What can I say? I got myself mixed up with the wrong company, and somebody must have mixed some psychoactive substance in my drink. After that, it's all blurry. I completely lost my sanity. I made a terrible mistake which I regret deeply.
You don't say. Do refugee girls often appear on the menu at those types of parties?
It's rather rare.
So you didn't attend the party to engage in an exotic experience involving a vulnerable woman unable to accuse you of assault.
I would never have planned such a terrible thing. What happened was just bad circumstance.
You mentioned blackmail. Tell me about it.
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous letter. It said that in the art gallery at Caravansary there exists a painting that incriminates me. The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too. And I should be wary of what it might do to my reputation.
What does the blackmailer want from you?
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Needless to say, I don't remember anyone taking photographs at the party. Up until the last moment, I hoped he was bluffing. But he wasn't, as you've just proven to me.
Show me the letter.
I burnt it as soon as I read it. I've left enough evidence. There's no need for any more.
Malin.
The painting that depicted you in the image of the devil was stolen by a mercenary. Did you have anything to do with it?
I might be a rotten person, sir, but hiring criminals for illicit purposes is not in my daily schedule.
And buying the painting in an attempt to hide the crime, is that on your daily schedule?
What would you do in my situation?
I would never put myself in such a situation.
You're young. I could never have imagined myself in my current position. Yet, here I am in front of you. We all make mistakes, Mr. Holmes. And I'm no exception. Mr. Holmes, I've built my entire career on hard work and uncompromising dedication to the crown. I made a mistake. But I'm not a villain from some cheap adventure fiction. By putting me behind bars, you will benefit precisely no one.
Rotting in prison is the least you deserve, but I have a better idea. You will make amends and help the ones you hurt.
Bah, j'ai envie de dire faire les deux. Mais bon, en priorité, on va dire quand même Nayla.
Nayla deserves the very utmost of what you can do.
Help the girl? I can't risk the press paying extra attention to her. I will do anything except that.
That's not all.
Ce qui veut dire que, effectivement, il n'aurait pas engagé le mercenaire à la choper pour la ramener avec lui en mode bon, allez, regardez, je vous donne de l'argent, machin. Parce que sinon, il aurait attiré l'attention des journaux vers lui.
Use your connections to help patriate the refugees, find them decent homes, give them jobs. There must be a meaning to your position and my decision.
Yes, all right, I can do that. So, will you give me the photograph now?
I need to think this all through. Don't do anything foolish in the meantime.
What makes you think you can decide what's best for these people?
C'est vrai.
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
C'est vrai, c'est vrai. On me demande de faire des choix éthiques à la Crimes and Punishment. Je ne crois pas en cette théorie parce qu'il a dit une chose qui pour moi est très intéressante pour ne pas l'inculper d'avoir envoyé le mercenaire, c'est si je fais quoi que ce soit pour cette femme, je vais attirer les journaux sur moi. Du coup pour moi c'est un peu une sorte d'indice qu'il n'aurait pas envoyé le mec. Bon, il me reste que la piste de Bernadotti là.
It seems they're not expecting guests.
I won't wait for an invitation, John. Porcelain friend for every child. This earthenware came a long way from the Staffordshire potteries. An essential remedy against sea scourge on any ship.
Effectivement. La vitamine est essentielle. C'est pour ça que l'invention des bottes de conserve a sauvé bon nombre de marins.
Hey yo, this is private property. You lost something.
Good day, sir. I've been sent by City Hall to see Mr. Bernadotte about...
Mr. Bernadotte isn't seeing anyone. You have 3 seconds to walk away or you'll never walk again. Capito?
It's in Mr. Bernadotte's best interest to...
1.
Listen, the man Bernadotte sent to...
2.
Bon bah j'ai pas le choix. Hein.
I did try to resolve this peacefully.
Ah, moi qui voulais un peu d'action. Galétor lance avec un groupe de 6. Merci mon très cher Galétor. Ah non, tu m'auras pas. Tu m'auras pas. Bonjour mon très cher Galétor. Comme tu vois, je suis en train de péter la gueule à des méchants brigands. Et bah moi je vais très bien et toi comment tu vas? Oh là bonjour. Non. Mais bien sûr je ne les tue pas. Je ne les tue pas. Car je suis un homme bon. Allez, ça fait dodo.
Bother moving.
The snuff's ready.
Mako a l'air d'aller. Eh bah écoute, ça me fait plaisir. Parce que j'ai toujours pas la fibre. Donc du coup, bah, j'aimerais bien avoir un peu de. Avoir un truc qui a un peu de semblant de gueule, quoi. Mais ça va largement s'améliorer quand j'aurai la fibre. Donc là, je fais tout pour que ça aille vite. Alors, dis-moi, t'étais sur un. T'étais sur. Comment ça s'appelle? T'étais sur le maître du donjon, là? Ou t'étais sur un autre jeu, là?
Sherry, look. This seems familiar.
Ah, le tableau. Civ 5, ok. Jamais testé ça. Faudrait que je fasse.
What's hidden there?
Je vous préviens, alors ça c'est. Je sais pas si Twitch va laisser passer ça. Un truc dégueulasse. Complètement dégueulasse.
Vogel's stolen painting. Isn't it curious how it developed into a much more interesting case?
D'accord, bah écoute, ça a l'air cool. Moi écoute, je suis en train d'enquêter sur l'affaire d'un. C'était tout simplement un simple vol dans une galerie d'art, dans une expo d'art. Et ça se transforme en complot. Alors il y a un grand homme d'affaires qui est un contrebandier. Et puis dedans il y a aussi un représentant officiel de la couronne qui est un violeur. Enfin, merci MK TV pour... C'est bien ça, c'est Henrik TV le raid de 2. Et donc du coup ça se barre en n'importe quoi.
Brindley Flow Blue Tableware.
Là je suis en train de démanteler un truc de contrebande mon gars. En même temps je vais mettre en prison un violeur.
People of Central Africa.
Donc et tout ça parce que j'enquêtais sur la mort de ma mère. Donc tu vois c'est ça. Ah. Merci. Hola. Comment vas-tu? Enchanté, Henrik TV. Quel est le dernier truc qui me reste à voir là par ici? Ah. Merci Henrik TV pour le follow. Et enchanté Hellblazer.
A Dogon statue from West Africa. A century old at least.
Et du coup,
This is
merci
what
pour le
I
follow
call the
Hellblazer.
facade of
J'ai les
the
informations un petit peu en retard, un tout petit peu en retard. Mais merci pour les follow vous deux. 14 sur 20 abonnés. On dirait mes notes en espagnol. Quand j'avais de la chance. Et bah écoute, bonne soirée mon cher Galétorn. Et puis tu dis bonjour à ta fameux.
No!
à ta waifu.
Don't hurt me.
It's all right.
Oula!
I won't harm you.
Like you didn't harm the folks on the way here.
Mais il est séquestré ou quoi? Non mais vous voyez sur quoi je tombe? À la base, j'enquête juste sur le vol d'un tableau. Je tombe sur une femme violée, un homme d'affaires qui fait de la contrebande, un réfugié séquestré. Non mais c'est... Juste avant, j'ai pété la gueule à une dizaine de brigands. Non mais je...
An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it.
Don't come any closer. One step and I'll shred you to pieces.
Essayez donc. Je vous briserai. Personne ne vous retrouvera.
Keep standing in my way and no one will ever see you again.
Righto. Yes. Yep. Well, excuse me, sir. I think I hear... I've got to... It's better I leave.
That was as if somebody put my words in your mouth.
C'est bon, il vient de se barrer comme un... Juste devant moi, et j'ai rien pu faire. Cordona Chronicles, la une, liée à la Rosta. D'accord. Il s'est pas genre barré là? Non. Logistics.
This is it. This is where all the magic happens.
Alors oui, si vous comprenez pas, je vous préviens, celui-là il est imaginaire, hein, donc c'est pour ça qu'il se téléporte.
Please don't shoot me. I have a family.
Ah mais non, t'inquiète pas. Beaucoup de paperasse, feuille de route, documents légaux. Papier coûteux, emblème de l'hôtel de ville, invitation, balle. Ah ah! C'est donc un complot depuis le début. Oui, alors, je vous explique. Donc, celui qui a violé une femme clame qu'il a été drogué, invité à une soirée, drogué. Il savait plus ce qu'il faisait. Il a violé une femme qui n'avait rien à faire là. Puis ensuite, on l'a fait chanter. Puis ensuite, et il bouge les bras en même temps que je parle. C'est un truc de fou. En plus, on l'a fait chanter. Et puis, après, le mec il a fait un tableau sur lui. Et puis après, le tableau il a été volé. Et puis le peintre il a été tué. Donc là, on a peut-être un élément qui tendrait à dire qu'il a été piégé.
So, you've cut through all the guards just to talk to me.
Yes.
And we shall talk.
Photographie d'une petite fille, membre de la famille. Jolie collection. Ouais, c'est très intéressant tout ça. Ça va bien m'aider. Ah, je sais que vous êtes le criminel car vous avez une jolie collection dans votre bibliothèque. Ah bah tu devrais voir la mienne.
Whenever you're ready. I'd hate to intrude.
Quel beau gosse. Tatouage de gang différent des autres. Ah oui, alors les autres ils avaient deux petits traits et là un point. Donc c'est peut-être un truc hiérarchique pour dire qu'il est au-dessus. N'a pas peur du sale boulot. N'a pas de tasse à son prénom. Ah oui, la pélagre. J'ai aucune idée de ce que c'est que la pélagre. Garde son sang-froid. Dac. Bah oui, parce que s'il utilise ses points alors qu'il a un flingue, c'est qu'il garde son sang-froid, effectivement. Marié. Niccolo Bernadotti est un impitoyable chef de gang doublé d'un homme d'affaires retors. Il dégage un air de confiance et de menace. Il anticipe le moindre danger en gardant toujours son arme à feu à portée de main, bien qu'il la laisse dans son étui. Bernadotti est issu de la classe ouvrière, né dans la pauvreté. Il a dû travailler dans les champs dès le plus jeune âge. Les longues heures passées à s'épuiser sous le soleil et la malnutrition fait de lui une proie idéale pour la pélagre. Il est parvenu à vaincre l'affliction, mais les effets de ces dernières sont encore visibles sur sa peau. En dépit de son aisance pécuniaire actuelle, il se garde de mener un train de vie de puissant et projette une image et une allure sobre. Ça, c'est si on décide que c'est un cerveau calculateur. Sinon, c'est un parrain du crime sans scrupules. Un pitoyable chef de gang qui est prêt à salir les mains sans hésiter dans le but de démontrer l'étendue de son pouvoir. Ayant travaillé dur tout au long de sa jeunesse, Bernadotte a développé une haine profonde du monde qui l'entoure. Il attend le danger à chaque tournant et le crée volontiers lui-même. La pélagre, maladie dont on observe encore les effets sur sa peau. Les séquelles sous des peaux raffinées. Il refuse de dissimuler les séquelles. Ok, ok. Tatouages différents qui se rejoignent néanmoins en style. Ce tatouage remplit sans doute le rôle d'un code, représentant les divers rangs qui constituent la hiérarchie d'une organisation criminelle régie par le secret et la discipline. Je pense vraiment que c'est beaucoup plus ça. Hein.
Bad news. The thug you sent to the refugee camp only succeeded in stabbing himself. His next and final journey will be to the morgue.
Hold your horses. Who the hell are you?
Sherlock Holmes. And you are Niccolo Bernadotte, a smuggler, kidnapper, and notorious cutthroat, among other things.
Few men would dare waltz into my office and address me like that. You are either overconfident or unintelligent. This is private property. Give me one reason why I should not shoot you on the spot. I am sure my friends at the station would call it self-defense.
Ah, c'est vrai que vu le nombre de gars que j'ai tabassés en entrant ici, mais cela dit, j'en ai tué aucun. Connaissez-vous Mercurio, votre sbire est marocain, j'enquête sur un cambriolage.
As I said, your man was found dead in the refugee camp. He was there to kidnap a woman, but the other refugees intervened to try and save her. The ensuing scuffle resulted in the man's accidental suicide. He sported the same tattoo as your men in this building. In fact, it also bears a resemblance to the one on your neck. Care to explain what business your man had with this woman?
You have no idea what you are talking about. I can assure you this was no kidnapping. The refugees in the camp are on edge. What happened there is a tragic accident, one I am not responsible for.
For what reason was your man there if not to abduct her?
Why would I answer? You are yet to justify your presence in the slightest.
D'accord. Connaissez-vous Monsieur B. Mercurio?
Mr. Bernadotte, do you know the name Boniface Mercurio?
I do not.
Mercurio was a local artist. Recently, a man broke into his apartment, ransacked the place, and killed him. The thief was looking for something.
You are testing my patience, boy.
In a moment, the connection will reveal itself.
J'enquête sur un cambriolage.
I was hired, privately, to investigate the recent theft of a painting from an art gallery. My investigation led me to a man from your organization, and thus, to you, Mr. Bernadotte.
That is quite a stretch. Why would I need to steal a painting when I could buy anyone I wanted?
Bah, de toute façon, je l'ai trouvé ton tableau, donc t'as plus rien à...
In your store.
Voilà.
I buy and sell a lot of things, Mr. Holmes.
Oui, non, mais là, il a été volé, mon gars.
Unfortunately, if this is true, it is not the first time I have been sold stolen merchandise. I presume you were hired by the owner of the gallery. Tell them
D'accord,
to
alors
contact
dites-moi
me
à qui vous
to
l'avez
find
acheté, alors.
out the situation. So, this painting is why you broke into my office. So many words, so little action. When you barged into my office, Mr. Holmes, I got the impression you wanted to talk business. Now I see you had come just to talk. Tell me exactly what you want, or get out.
It was necessary groundwork for what comes next. I have enough evidence to conclude that the gallery thief, the artist's killer, and the dead man in the camp are all the same person.
Your time is almost up, Mr. Holmes.
Before you draw your gun, there is one final detail I am yet to mention. The young woman your man was tasked to collect from the refugee camp had been defiled at a perverse masquerade party. That violation was captured in a photograph by Boniface Mercurio and used as a reference for his painting. The photo shows the attacker's face.
Finally. That's why you're here, Mr. Holmes. You have the photograph.
It is what your man was after when he broke into Mercurio's apartment, and it is what you're after too, isn't it, Mr. Bernadotte?
You have the photograph with you. How much do you want for it?
I am not naive enough to carry it with me, but I am yet to decide what I shall do with it. I know the man in the photo is a British envoy. What interest do you have in his downfall?
I must admit, I am rather impressed by how comprehensively you have pursued this matter. And so, you deserve the honest answer. My business dealings are often arduous in their bureaucracy. A man in his position, willing to look the other way, could ease my work significantly. In return, I will make sure no one looks his way either. A favor for a favor.
Also known as blackmail, the modus operandi of any true professional.
It was not originally my idea. Mercurio set things in motion, extorting the envoy for the most trivial of ends. Money. In response, the envoy hired my man to retrieve the painting and the photograph, eliminating Mercurio's leverage. I only learned the whole story after the artist was killed in his home.
And rather than extricate yourself, instead you took over Mercurio's venture.
It fell into my lap. As a businessman, I simply seized the opportunity. Now, how much do you want for the image?
Mais je ne veux pas d'argent, tête de pine. Alors, supposons que je vous la donne, les réfugiés à votre entrepôt. Pourquoi enlever la femme? Artefact de contrebande. Pourquoi enlever la femme?
Why did you send your man to remove the woman from the camp?
Without a photograph, her testimony was the next best thing. Securing her was in everyone's interest. Victims and witnesses all too often disappear. I thought the girl was safer with us. I did not anticipate what would happen at the camp.
Comment ça se fait que vous séquestrez des mecs dans votre entrepôt là? Vous m'expliquez cette histoire?
I saw refugees from the camp at your warehouse. They work for you.
I have made certain arrangements with City Hall and the police. Thanks to me, refugees can work and be paid. It's a pathway to freedom.
And
Ah oui.
how much do you save by capitalizing on their cheap labor?
I have heard no complaints. They seem
Ah bah si
happy
tu les
to
enfermes,
get
c'est sûr.
out of that slum.
Le mec il était là. Ne me faites pas de mal s'il vous plaît. D'accord. Les artefacts de contrebande alors?
I could not help but appreciate the collection of smuggled artifacts in your storeroom. You have rather diversified your business.
Oh, high and mighty of you, Mr. Holmes. Not all smuggling is immoral. I pay generous rates to developing cultures and spread their culture to eager buyers. And furthermore, I supply many immigrants with a taste of home.
A very convenient way of thinking.
I have traveled wildly, Mr. Holmes. I've seen people in far-flung lands for whom my services are a lifeline.
Bon bah amen alors.
Without them,
Connard.
I would starve. The tax on cargo is often so absurd that it would be more profitable to simply sink your ship than dock it in the harbor. And trust me, I am speaking from experience.
Supposons que je vous la donne.
Why should I give you the photograph?
Just name your price.
What if my price were not money? You claim to have connections, Mr. Bernadotte. Perhaps you could improve conditions for the refugees.
Ah, je sens que ça va être dur comme choix moral à la fin.
I do have connections, Mr.
À la fin, on a
Holmes,
toujours des choix
but
moraux.
help the whole camp. You are asking too much. I could, however, make arrangements for one person. The woman who was violated will have her own home outside the camp, solely for her and her child. She will no longer be a refugee, but a princess. That I can guarantee.
Is that really possible?
It will be neither fast nor easy, but I can do it. She deserves it, don't you agree? And as for her accuser, he will serve me as much as he deserves.
So, in your plan, everybody will be given their due. Especially you, Mr. Bernadotte.
Seems like a fair deal, no? I doubt anyone could offer you better. Simply give me the photograph, and the world becomes a better place. I give you my word.
Nila a été violée et échappée de peu à un enlèvement. Je dois d'abord m'assurer de la sûreté d'elle et de son enfant. Victime du système. Tous les réfugiés sont victimes du système. La situation dans laquelle ils se trouvent peut et doit être corrigée. Donc moi j'étais là-dessus. Si on met ça, ça fait quoi? Ok.
I suppose it's Mr. Bernadotte with our fine governor. 1875. It's taken a few years back. John, how many people in Cordona have a photograph with the governor, do you think?
You definitely don't have one.
Voilà. Et du coup là, ça me débloque un autre choix moral. Donc en fait, je peux donner la photographie à 3 personnes. Lui, là, l'homme d'affaires. Si je fais ça, il est là. Je peux la donner à Vogel, qui concrètement va faire ébruiter l'affaire et ça va envoyer tout le monde en prison. Ou alors, je la donne... Comment il s'appelle là Je la donne à l'autre là, comment il s'appelle lui là. Et en échange, il aide tous les réfugiés. Bon, je pense que... Non, ils m'ont saoulé. Ils vont finir en zonzon, moi je vous le dis. Hein. L'offre de Bernadotti, monsieur Bernadotti, ok, ok, ok.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you
Putain,
uncovered
mais il est
anything
tellement
new
chelou ce
about
mec.
the theft?
Bon bah écoutez, mon choix est fait. Le criminel, c'est lui. Impitoyable justice. L'envoyé est méprisable, et Bernadotti cherche à tirer profit d'une horrible situation. Aucun n'est digne de confiance. La vérité, si elle est révélée, résoudra l'affaire. Donnez la photographie à Vogel afin qu'il dévoile tout au public. Bien. Très très bien. Toi, mon petit monsieur, viens par là que je te parle.
I've brought news, but not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
Je commence par quoi?
I located the thief, but found him rather cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting too.
Ah, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. One presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own knife.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious.
I tracked down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio, perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
I found the painting, but I could not retrieve it.
Well then, where is it?
In Bernadotti's office.
Bernadotti? That shady businessman? Why would he steal it from me?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him yourself.
I take it you found something more then.
I found the source of Mercurio's artistic inspiration. A photograph. What troubled me was that the sexual act captured was non-consensual.
She was violated? Dear God, how despicable.
Her abuser was in fact the British envoy. Mercurio took a picture of him committing the atrocity and then used it as artistic inspiration.
I had no idea a mere break-in would eventually expose such barbarity.
Mr. Vogel, I want you to make everything public, including the photograph. I'm sure you have a connection at the Cordona Chronicle.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Loyal to your own truth till the end. Yes, I'm acquainted with the staff of the Chronicle.
Voilà.
The story is
Allez,
sensational.
tout le monde en prison.
It will draw attention to the gallery, but you must be aware that exposing the scandal will further hurt the victim. Does that not bother you?
No matter what one does, the truth tends to come out, as well it should. I won't be the one to stand in its way.
Though it's only your subjective truth being exposed. Not that I'm judging. It's perfectly reasonable for everyone to have their own views.
When you called me, you knew exactly what you would get.
Oh, but I'm not like you, Mr. Holmes. I cannot be sure of anything. Regardless, I must thank you, for art's sake. Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I took the liberty of having it delivered to Stonewood Manor. I am told it belonged to your mother.
And what exactly have you sent me?
Frankly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I trust you'll know.
Previously, you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh dear, I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally unwell. She required sustained specialized treatment, but her madness persisted.
I knew that Violet had disappeared from the public eye, but had no idea of her suffering. I cannot imagine what you're feeling.
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. I am curious to see what you have procured.
Voilà une bonne chose de faite. Tout le monde en zonzon. Allez, allez, allez.